Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world where everything is moving fast. Every moment, there's someone telling us what we should do, how we should think, and who we should be. It feels like we are constantly being pulled in 100 different directions, trying to live up to expectations that may not even be our own. But what if the secret to a happy and fulfilled life isn't about meeting others' expectations? What if it's about listening to yourself? About realizing that the most important person to think about in your life is you. Why it's essential to think about yourself and the impact it has on your well-being. When we start talking about thinking about yourself, a lot of people might assume it means being selfish, but that's far from the truth. The idea of thinking about yourself is not about putting yourself above others in a hurtful way, but rather giving yourself the attention and care you deserve. It's about understanding that your well-being matters and that it's okay to take time for yourself without feeling guilty or selfish. In a world that constantly demands more of us, it's easy to forget about our own needs. We live in a culture that praises busyness, that celebrates being constantly on the go, and that tells us that success means sacrificing everything, even our mental and emotional health. But what happens when we follow that narrative? We burn out. We become overwhelmed. We begin to feel disconnected from ourselves. That's why it's crucial to think about yourself. When you put yourself first, you give yourself the opportunity to recharge. You allow your mind and body the rest they need. It's like when you're on an airplane, and the safety instructions tell you to put on your own oxygen mask before helping others. If you don't take care of yourself first, you won't be able to help anyone else. It's the same in life. If you're not taking care of your own mental and physical health, you won't have the energy, strength, or clarity to help others around you. Thinking about yourself also means taking a step back to reflect on your emotions. How often do we check in with ourselves and ask, how am I really feeling today? How often do we listen to our bodies when they say they need rest, or when our minds say they need a break? Too often we ignore these signs because we feel the pressure to keep going. But by doing so, we're only prolonging the inevitable burnout. It's not just about rest, it's also about nourishing your soul. What brings you joy? What makes you feel alive? These are important questions that we often don't take the time to ask ourselves, because we're too busy worrying about everything and everyone else. Taking time to nurture yourself, whether it's through a hobby, a passion, or simply taking a quiet moment to reflect, helps you reconnect with your inner self. When you think about yourself, you begin to prioritize your needs and desires. It's not about being self-centered or ignoring others, but about ensuring that you are in a good place mentally, emotionally, and physically. When you care for yourself, you build the foundation for everything else in your life to thrive. Thinking about yourself enables you to set boundaries. It gives you the strength to say no when you need to. Setting boundaries is a form of self-respect, and it's a necessary practice to preserve your energy. When you set clear boundaries, you protect your time, your peace, and your well-being. And when you respect your own boundaries, others will begin to do the same. Thinking about yourself allows you to take control of your life. It gives you the space to reflect, recharge, and realign with your purpose. It's a simple act of self-love, and it's the foundation for living a fulfilled life. So remember, you are worthy of love, care, and attention. Prioritize yourself, because when you do, everything else falls into place. Self-care and self-love are often misunderstood. In our society, the idea of taking time for yourself is sometimes seen as selfishness, a concept that can cause guilt. However, the truth is that self-care is an essential part of being able to give to others. It is about maintaining your own health, happiness, and well-being so that you can fully show up in the world for the people and causes that matter most to you. When we prioritize ourselves, we are not rejecting others. Instead, we are ensuring that we have the strength and resources to care for others in the most meaningful way. There is a big difference between being selfish and taking care of yourself. Being selfish means acting solely in your own interest, disregarding the needs and feelings of others. It is about pushing others down to elevate yourself. But self-care is not about putting others last or being indifferent to the world around you. It's about ensuring that you are functioning at your best, so that when you do give to others, you can give from a place of abundance, not depletion. Self-care is an act of responsibility. It's the act of knowing your worth and understanding that your needs are just as important as the needs of those around you. It's about acknowledging that you have limitations, that you are not invincible, and that you cannot continue to pour from an empty cup. We often feel the need to be everything to everyone, constantly giving, constantly helping, but when we do this, we tend to neglect ourselves. We forget to recharge, to refresh, and to focus on what truly matters for our own well-being. Taking time for yourself is not a luxury, it's a necessity. In fact, it is one of the most important things you can do for yourself. When you take care of yourself, you have the energy, patience, and clarity to take care of everything else in your life. Whether it's getting enough sleep, eating nutritious meals, exercising regularly, or simply taking a moment of quiet to reflect, these actions are crucial for maintaining balance in your life. Without these moments of self-care, we risk becoming overwhelmed, stressed, and ultimately burnt out. The misconception about self-care is that it's something that can only happen in rare moments or on special occasions. However, self-care should be an ongoing practice, something you weave into your daily routine. It doesn't always have to look like long spa days or exotic vacations, although if you're able to do that, great. Self-care can be as simple as taking a few moments in the morning to meditate, writing in a journal to release your thoughts, or setting boundaries with people who drain your energy. It can even mean saying no to things that are not in alignment with your values or goals. Small, consistent acts of self-care can make a huge difference in your overall well-being. It's important to remember that self-care looks different for everyone. What nourishes one person may not work for another, and that's okay. The key is to tune into your own needs, to understand what makes you feel restored and balanced. Self-care can be physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual. It may be something as simple as taking a walk in nature, journaling your thoughts, doing yoga, or spending time with loved ones. It can also be about seeking professional help, whether it's through therapy, or simply having a conversation with someone who understands you. The idea is to create practices that allow you to connect with yourself and restore your sense of peace and purpose. Another important aspect of self-care is setting boundaries. It's difficult to take care of yourself if you constantly allow others to drain your energy or violate your limits. Boundaries are not about building walls or cutting people off, but about creating healthy spaces where you can protect your mental, emotional, and physical health. Setting boundaries means being clear about your needs and standing firm in those boundaries even when it's difficult. It can feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to putting others first. But in the long run, it is the most loving thing you can do for both yourself and others. When you respect your own boundaries, you teach others to respect them as well. In this world where we are often taught to hustle, to give more than we take, it can feel challenging to focus on yourself. But the truth is that when we don't take care of ourselves, we can't show up for the people who matter most. We can't give love, support, or attention if we are not in a healthy, balanced place ourselves. By taking the time to focus on yourself, to give yourself the care and love you deserve, you create the foundation for a life that is not only fulfilling for you, but also beneficial for those around you. When you prioritize your own self-care, you are not being selfish. You are simply ensuring that you have the energy, love, and resources to live your life to the fullest and to give your best to others. It's not a one-time fix, it's a continuous practice, and by making self-care a part of your daily life, you will build a stronger, more resilient version of yourself, ready to face whatever challenges life may bring. Building a life based on your own values and dreams is one of the most liberating and fulfilling things you can do. Yet, in a world that is filled with distractions, pressures, and external expectations, it can be easy to lose sight of what truly matters to you. Many people go through life following the paths laid out by others, whether it's their parents, society, or the general norms, and end up living lives that do not reflect their authentic selves. However, when you take the time to truly understand your values and your dreams, and then align your actions with them, you create a life that is not only fulfilling but also uniquely yours. Your values are the foundation of who you are. They are the principles that guide your decisions, shape your behavior, and influence your relationships. They are the beliefs that you hold dear, the things that matter most to you, and they provide a sense of direction and purpose.